It's alarming to realize that a report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds. The United States has one of the worst records among industrialized nations, losing an average between 4 and 7 children every day to child abuse and neglect. Dr. Clare Sheridan of Loma University Children's Hospital examines how this is handled and reported.
The main reporters of child abuse are the mandated reporters, like people who work in child protective services and law enforcement. And after that, it would be teachers. The best data we have, which comes from child protective services data, is that there are about 6 million referrals on individual children made in the United States every year. And of those 6 million referrals, about 800,000 are felt to be founded, in other words, found to be true, substantiated abuse. So that we know of, almost 1 million children are abused in this country every year. The most common type numerically is child neglect. And that's actually the one where more of the children die, is from child neglect than any other form of abuse. And then that's followed by child physical abuse, and then lastly by child sexual abuse. Sometimes it's not just good enough to remove them from that situation and say give the parents parenting classes or whatever, that the effects on the child's mental and physical development can be long-lasting. One way to look at it is to break it down into two kind of situations. There are children who live in what you might call a toxic environment. They may not be actually being physically harmed, but they're living with domestic violence. They're seeing their mother being beaten or vice versa. They're seeing people using drugs. Maybe one of the relatives is in jail, or they see a lot of crime around, and or they're living with an alcoholic. Studies have been done, and probably the most famous is the ACE study, which is the Adverse Childhood Event Study. And that was started in San Diego by Dr. Folletti in Kaiser down there. And by following children, or adults rather, who had certain conditions, all kinds of conditions, we were able to see that the more adverse childhood experiences they had, the more likely they were to have a poor outcome as an adult. In the hospital, we see another subset of children who are very badly physically abused. We see a lot of shaken babies. And when they are shaken and it has caused brain damage, then a lot of this brain damage is permanent. Again, this child, through no fault of its own, it maybe was shaken when it was 3 months of age, and that person who did that to that child has set that child on a course of life which is pretty devastating. If we were going to stop abuse from happening for those 6 million children, then everybody in society has to play their part and become a lot more aware of what's going on. Most of us know instinctively the right way to treat babies and young children, and if you see something happening that is not right, then just don't keep quiet about it. If you do nothing, the behavior is not going to stop. Just because you said something doesn't mean the behavior is going to stop. So you actually have to take a step further, and you have to call Child Protective Services. Or if the child's in immediate danger, you have to call 911, call law enforcement. One case that we had a couple of years ago was like this lady was in a store. She saw this child that had this huge bruise on her face, and she was small, like maybe 3 years old. And then she asked the mother what happened, and she said, oh, the child, she fell. And this mother was thinking, oh, I don't know. It seems like that's too much. And then she heard the mother talking to the children like, don't say anything to this woman, and we're going to go home now. So they left the store, and she followed them. And she followed them to where their apartment complex was, and when she got there and saw where they had gone, she called 911. And the police came out, and then we got to see these children, and I tell you, that woman totally saved them. I mean, one of them had so many bruises underneath the clothing that she wouldn't even have been aware of. But if she hadn't made that call, what would have happened? And probably, even more abuse. And I've actually, through the years, have people come back to me, and I don't necessarily remember them, but they remember me, and they say, thank you. You were the only one that listened to me, and I got removed, and I got placed somewhere good, and my life got so much better. So it's not without its gratifications.
Everyone should learn and know the warning signs to look for if you suspect a child is being abused. You can make a difference and possibly save an innocent life. For the American Health Journal, I'm Laura Windsor.